destroying the destroyers of the earth.
Well, hello everybody. Dave back again. Snollygoster episode 3. And I'm wearing my red Star Wars shirt. Hope you like it. But the reason I'm wearing red is because we're going to talk about communism versus socialism. So that's something the right hates. They hate socialism and communism. But because they only listen to right-wing media and they don't read, they don't understand the difference between socialism and communism. But I'm here to educate the masses. Okay, communism. Stalin, Mao, China, Russia, la 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 la. Okay. Communism is when an authoritarian regime controls all aspects of the people's lives. They own everything and they run everything. Now, socialism is totally different. Socialism, or to be more to the point, democratic socialism, is when you have duly elected leaders like we have today. You have taxes, people still own private property, and that's it. Except you have more social programs. Pretty much like, let me think, America. America is a socialist country, and Americans don't even realize that. Let me explain. Okay, Social Security, the name right there. What Social Security is, it's a net to help people when they get older. That's all it is. It was created to help people who would get old, not have enough money to survive, gives them a little bit of money so that they can eat and have a home and all that. So people say, well, I pay into Social Security, so it's my money. And the right loves to use buzzwords like entitlement. Well, yes, I am entitled to my money, thank you very much. But if you're 95 years old, if you live to be 95, you're going to pull out way more money than somebody who lives to be 70. So if it really is your money or it's an entitlement, then when I turn 65, I should be able to pull out all the money that I paid in. But you can't do that because it goes into a big pot and everybody gets doled out depending on what you put in, what your income over your lifetime was, equal percentage, and you get that check every month. It's just a way to help people that are not good savers save money. It's kind of like the government forces you to save. So, but people say, well, we need pure capitalism. Well, let me explain what pure capitalism would be. If you like to read Ayn Rand, the Fountainhead or Atlas Shrugged, which all conservative Republicans seem to love, she preached everything should be pure capitalism. So what that would mean is every road would be a toll road. If you bought a house, the electric lines that come to your house, you would have to pay for. If you bought a house, the road would have to be made to your house that you would pay for. The water lines, the sewer lines. But that's not how our society works. We are not a pure capitalistic society. Every road is not a toll road. We pay taxes. We put the money into a big pile, and then the city builds the roads, builds the electric lines, builds the sewer lines, and all that, and maintains them. And you pay a little monthly bill on your usage. The schools would be all private schools. That's what Betsy DeVos wants to do. Charter schools is just a buzzword for private schools. So in America, we have public schools. That means that Everybody that lives in an area pays taxes. That tax money, a percentage of it goes to the schools, because a better educated society is a better society. It cuts down on poverty, it cuts down on crime, it creates educated, skilled workers that can go out there and benefit the whole of society. But if you listen to Betsy DeVos, then every school would be private. You would have to, it would like be sending, like when you were sending your kid to elementary school, it'd be like sending them to college. You have to pay for their books, you would have to pay for their tuition, everything. Not only would you still be paying your regular property taxes, but you would be paying on top of that the books and the tuition of the school. So that's how, it's just a way for people to make money. There's lobbyists, they go, I have a private school, I started a private school, so I want people to come to it, so here, Betsy DeVos, here's some money, take away, don't give a lot of money to public schools and let them get all crappy and broken down and nobody wants to work there, and the scores for the children in the test taking drop to the bottom, so everybody thinks that public schools are so horrible, so they'll go to charter schools and we'll make all the money because we're charging them all this money because it's private. The police department, that right there, the police are a socialist organization, because when you have a break-in or a crime happens to you, the police don't come to your house and then you tell them, somebody broke in. And they're like, okay, well, let's see this. So you had a burglary. So we're having half-offs. Was there a rape or a murder? Because if you put burglary with murder or burglary with rape, you get a discount. Oh, I'm sorry, you only had a burglary. So that's $800. So if you want to pay the $800 now, then we'll be happy to go out there and look for your stuff and solve this crime. Stupidity. The fire department, they don't charge you. They come and put out the fire in your house. They don't sit there and give you a bill. That's socialism. When you go down and buy your house and you borrow money from Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, that's socialism. I'll break it down even more simple for the people out there that are sports fans so they'll understand it. Football is the most socialist sport in America. Now let's look at all the socialist aspects of football. Number one, the draft. I thought in America we were always about winners. Screw losers, we love winners. Well, in the football draft, the team with the worst record picks first, and the team with the best record picks last. So here we are, penalizing winners. We're penalizing them job creators. Also, they have a salary cap. They can only spend so much money. That way, it makes it more competitive. So rich cities can't spend every dang nickel and dime they have to buy the best players, and then the poor cities can't even compete. Much like baseball, where the rich cities usually dominate the poor cities, because baseball is purely capitalism. And then we have, let's say, the revenue sharing. In the NFL, at the end of the season, they take all of the ad revenue, put it in a big pile, and they give it out to each team. Doesn't matter if you were a first place team or a last place team, everybody gets an equal share. Football is socialism. Let's look at healthcare. Now, I know everybody out there is like, ooh, I love my healthcare. What do you mean you love your healthcare? I work for a living. My healthcare, like everybody else, healthcare sucks. They cap your lifetime benefits. I've gone down, my doctor has written prescriptions for medicine. I go down to fill them and my insurance won't cover it. This is my insurance through my job. They won't cover it. The doctor says I need this pill, but the insurance company's like, nah, we don't think so. I go down, how many times have you gone down? You have insurance through your job. You go down to get an x-ray or some type of procedure, some minimal procedure, and they tell you, just pay your copay, you're good to go. You pay your copay, they do the x-ray, they do the MRI, and then weeks later, months later, you get another bill because the insurance company said, screw it, we're not paying for it. So if your job insurance is so great, then why don't they pay for it? Because it sucks, because that's capitalism. Because the insurance company can say, we're just not going to pay for it. Because what are you going to do? You have no other choices. But if everything was socialized and controlled, then the government would set prices and say, you can only charge a certain amount for an MRI. You can only charge a certain amount for this pill. You know, that's what's ridiculous. Because if you have cash money, I can go to this one hospital and they'll charge me $1,800 for an MRI. But I go to this other hospital over here across town and they charge me $5,000 for an MRI. That right there proves that it's a screwed up system. And then the other thing is, here in America, when it comes to our medicine, and we don't want socialized medicine, is, you know, because the pharmaceutical companies control everything, you know, which that's pretty totalitarian if you're worried about communism. You can't go to Canada to buy medicine. You can't get it from overseas. You can't get it from Mexico. And like, you know, we hear all the time on the news about, oh, the horrible Canadian medicines and European medicines and Mexican medicines where all these people died. No, nobody dies. It's the same medication. One pill in America shouldn't cost $200 and you can go to Canada or Mexico and get the same pill for $10. That is communism. You know, it's crazy. People are so stupid. They're so scared of red. They're so scared of buzzwords, communism, socialism. This is why Fox News and Rush Limbaugh and Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity throw these words at you because they know that they scare you when they're totally hurting you because they know you're not going to take the time to do the research. Drives me insane. So we're not talking about, when we talk about socialism, we're not talking about putting people in gulags. We're not talking about, you know, Mao or Stalin. You know, we're talking about pretty much what we do today, except expanded it a bit, you know. And another thing, you know, people always say, well, if you have socialism, you know, then nobody's going to work. Who cares? Why do you care? If one guy gets welfare and he gets $800 a month and he lives in a crappy house and doesn't have a car and doesn't have anything, why do you care? If you want to work, work. Make $1 million a year so you can live in the mansion and drive the, you know, the Beamer or whatever. What do you care what somebody else does? If they want to live under trash, let them live under trash. You don't want to live that way, then work. You know, we talk about America is a land of freedom. Well, then people are free to be lazy and be bums. You know, if you don't want to help them, you don't have to. Nobody makes you. Nobody puts a gun in your head and says, oh, you gotta help that guy. If you don't want to, don't. You know, all we're saying is that we need to fix the system. We need to make sure that everybody can make a living. You know, we need to make sure that everybody can have health care. We're not talking about China or Russia. Socialism, Bernie Sanders, Biden, they're not communists. You need to quit intermingling communism and socialism. They don't mean the same thing. And when you say that, it makes you look like an idiot. You know, the same people that bitch about socialism scream, don't take my Social Security away. Socialism, Social Security. Do you get it? Does it make sense to you now? Oh, it's so ridiculous. You know, I hope my football analogy helps some of you out there. But just educate yourselves. Please, people, read a book. Get off of Facebook. Read a book. At least read Wikipedia and try to understand, because it makes you look like an idiot when you say the things you do, because it's embarrassing. It really is. And the one last thing I want to say about medicine, and this is why we need health care for all, that it's a human right. It's because I can't pick my genes. It's unfair to penalize people. Like, I may live, you know, I'm slim and I work out and I run and I walk and I drink water and I don't do any drugs, I don't drink any alcohol. But because I was born to a father and born to a mother who I couldn't choose, I have certain genetic issues, high blood pressure, cancer. Why must I be penalized for conditions that have nothing to do with me? So you don't want me to have health care, even though no matter what I do to take care of myself, I'm predisposed to having certain conditions. I thought you were Christian. I thought that you loved everybody. What does it matter to you if I have health care or not? Wake up and quit being a hypocrite. Educate yourselves. This is David. Zoe Zizzles. Have a blessed day.